Hello everyone and welcome to episode 1 of the United Provinces, the new series here and the first series on Europa Universalis 4 here on the channel. And I thought it would be appropriate for the first series to do my favorite playthrough on EU4, which is a playthrough where we'll be playing as the Netherlands, eventually. We of course don't have the Netherlands on the map in the 1444 start date, we'll have to form them. And we'll be playing as what I imagine is the most popular nation to form the Netherlands as, starting at least, which is Holland. They obviously have Amsterdam and Den Haag at the 1444 start date, so they probably make the most sense, I would say. And of course, they also start out as a junior partner under Burgundy, same as Flanders and Brabant, and Burgundy also has Nevers as a vassal. So Burgundy does start off in 1444 as one of the most powerful countries around, and we're going to have to fight them. We will be fighting for our independence very early. Now, your ideal start here is to be able to get France and England to support your independence. And in this case, we can get both of them. So we're going to go ahead and get both of them to support my independence right away. It's always a great first move. Now, with any of their other rivals, the only other rival being Aragon would actually support our independence as well. And if they're still willing to and our diplomats get back in 3 days, we will definitely go right ahead and take that. Let's also go ahead and sort out our states. You know, normal opening stuff for an EU4 game. I don't know if I want to take the monarch power privileges. I probably do because we'll be making enough money that the crown land debuffs won't be that bad. We won't be expanding that much early on. We won't be conquering that much new land. So I will actually take the monarch power buffs here. Religious diplomats is always good. It'll help us get some guys to support our independence early on. And then we'll take oversight by clergy to get their loyalty nice and high. We'll take primacy of the nobility as well. Mill power is one of the most important ones you can get, of course. I mean, we'll also give them both right of council and supremacy over the crown. We'll be summoning the Diet as often as we can anyway. For the burghers, I won't give them land of commerce. We should be good on diplo power, I think. And there are other better things I want from the burghers. We want private trade fleets. That's great for us. We're going to be getting a lot of ship trade power boost. That's going to be a modifier we're stacking big time. We also want patronage of the arts so we can send a scornful insult right away. And we'll leave it at that for now with the burghers. We'll also go ahead and summon the Diet. Clergy wants base tax up. I'm going to say no on that because we're going to be going in a bit of an admin hole early. We're going to lose a stab when we declare independence. So with the burghers proposal here, we'll see if we can get that much trade power in our home node. And then my normal opening moves here, because I have done this playthrough a few times, I have kind of a routine. The game gets a bit more open later on, but there's a good routine I have down, and it's kind of precarious. It requires a lot of things to go very specifically your way. So we'll build up to our force limit over there in Amsterdam. Wow, a 5 fire. He's not that useful right now because fire doesn't really matter at this point in the game, but he'll be really useful. Well, he won't be around when fire really becomes useful, so that's unfortunate. So we'll get our ships, we'll get a general and an admiral, we'll get everything over in Den Haag, and we will put our only state here on local defensiveness, because we will be getting siege down right away. That's probably all for the opening moves right before I unpause. Oh no, I need to seize land, of course. So we'll go back to 14. And then we'll unpause, we'll let those two support independence officers come in. So yes, we have both England and France supporting our independence, and now Aragon as well. That's not one I usually count on, but it's a decent one to have. Another ally doesn't hurt. Okay, so that's all of those. Now we can't declare war until December 11th of December. So we will wait until then. Actually, what I want to do, we'll push back the start of the war a little bit. I want to send a scornful insult to Burgundy. It'll improve our relations with France a bit, and Aragon, and that's always good. May your sky be filled with comets. Yes, yes. Okay. So now we just wait until December 15th when we'll be able to declare our independence war, and we will do that literally as soon as we possibly can. And there we go. So we will have the help of Aragon, France, and England. They'll have the help of Milan. Not a bad ally they picked up right away, but it won't... I mean, we got a better ally that I usually don't count on. I usually only count on France and England, but we have gotten Aragon in this case. It's actually 16th of December. Okay, there we go. So we'll do that. Of course, like I said, we will be going down one stab. Picked up a 4-1-3. Maybe I was wrong about us being good on Diplo power. But I will boost that stab up right away. And we'll let our army build up, and my plan is to basically evacuate to England. This is the normal plan I have when I do this playthrough, because they're going to come siege me right away, and I can't fight their armies by myself. So I'm really just not going to be involved, and I don't need to be involved, not for the way I usually do this playthrough. There's no need for my involvement. Oh, wow. The Crimean event is already happening, and the Ottomans already have Crimea as a march. That was pretty quick. Yeah, there's no reason to waste my manpower to get my armies killed fighting hopeless fights against Burgundy. You see they're going to march over 20,000 men onto my capital there, so I just can't fight that. So we're not going to fight it. We're just going to flee over to... Well, we won't do that quite yet. There's a chance we don't have to, but if that siege starts getting pretty good progress, we will be running away. Absolutely. But in the meantime, very entertaining gameplay here. We're just going to let our allies win this war for us. No reason to do anything else here. My allies will absolutely win this war for me. Hopefully, it'd be nice if they would come over and kill this army on my capital, because the ideal way to get out of this war is to get out of it with Burgundy being kind of decimated. But it looks like they're just content, my allies are just content to sit on sieges. That's fine. That works all right for me too. Main goal is we want to get out of this war with, this independence war with Burgundy quickly. That's the number one thing we want to do, and we only want to take our independence. Now, I've seen some people do a playthrough where they will take land. I usually don't prefer to do that. Taking land will mean you'll lose trust with all of your allies. They'll probably all dissolve alliance with you if you take land, which I absolutely do not want. And additionally, I want a short truce. Oh, and here's the great benefit of allying England and France. It means you get the surrender of Maine guaranteed to end in a peace, which is great. We don't want France and England killing each other early on, ruining their manpower, and getting into a position where they would not be willing to come into wars with us. So by having them both as your allies, and their allies in a war together, they can't go to war. So you force the surrender of Maine event to end peacefully. England will just cede Maine to France, and they'll get a truce. Works great. We don't want those guys fighting unless it's for us. We only want France and England fighting for us on our side in our wars. So yeah, they are going to be hard-pressed to actually get onto my capital and kill this Burgundian army because of all the forts around here. They're going to have a hard time actually getting there. Maybe once they occupy Bruges here, they might be able to. Not 100% sure. But I'm not sure even if they'd want to. And wow, Poland has denied to take the PU over Lithuania. That doesn't help me too much or anything, but it's an interesting development nonetheless. Might have a kind of weak pull in this game since they've denied that PU. And yeah, it looks like no one's going to come relieve my capital. That's alright. We don't need Burgundy to be weakened. It would just be like a nice little bonus. Oh, and I forgot. We need to be improving relations with France right away. And we need to be building a spy network on Burgundy. We should have been doing that from the very beginning of this war. That was a bit of a misplay on my part. Because you're just going to be... You want to be preparing as soon as possible for the next war with Burgundy, which will be happening eventually. It's part of why we want such a short truce with Burgundy out of this war, because we don't want to have to wait forever to get back to war with Burgundy. In fact, they're probably willing to peace out and give me my independence right now. They're actually not. That's surprising. Fine with me. Aragon has denied to keep Naples as a PU, so that's pretty standard. But yeah, if they want to stay in this war a bit longer, I'm content to let them. I would just prefer it came with us, my allies, killing Burgundian armies. But it doesn't look like they're going to. Yeah, they're just going to be so hard-pressed to get through these fort zone of controls. Oh. We have an heir, 243. Normally, I might consider it disinherit on a 243. It's not the best. It's not bad. But, just with the amount of prestige we have, it's going to be pretty low. We're going to have low legitimacy, all that stuff. I'm just going to keep them around. It's fine. Now, they got to be willing to peace out now, right? They are. We'll just take that. There's pretty low odds that they end up, my allies end up killing any Burgundian armies over here. Burgundy was thinking about going to help Nevers in this, but they thought better of it. I would prefer it if they did. But we'll just go ahead and get out of this war. Just our independence. We want as short a truce as possible. So this will go until February 1st of 1454. All of our allies will be fine with us, and they will remain our allies, which is great. We will rival... I think you always have the same three rivals right after getting independence as Holland. Friesland, Gelre, and Utrecht. We'll not be fighting any of them, so don't have to worry about that. And then we're going to build up our army real quick. I usually get another horse just because you start off with one cav unit, and I like having my army balanced. It's a weird thing. It's not ideal, honestly. You don't really want the cav. They cost too much money, but I want it to be nice and balanced. And we will protect trade in our home node. Another thing I forgot to do right away. My trade setup, the automatic trade setup you get at the start of the game is always going to have merchants steering to your home node. So you see here, in Champagne, we're transferring 0.43 to the English channel. Here in Lubeck, we're transferring 0.22. So since we're transferring less from Lubeck, I'm actually going to take the merchant from Lubeck and have him actually collect from trade here in the English channel. Because you do get a bonus to the amount you collect if you're collecting in your home node with a merchant. So I always think it's a good idea. Royal Marry France so we can get higher opinion with them. We'll also Royal Marry England and Aragon, since we have them as an ally, evidently. Which is unexpected, but welcome. And we'll let all those come in. Let our diplomats do all this work. Yeah, just want to get our opinion up with all these guys. And then Royal Marry England. Great alliance network we have right off rip. Aragon probably won't last long. They'll get Iberian marriage, of course. But you see our trade income is up to 2.98. We're now collecting 2.98 from... Yeah, that's exactly what our trade income is. We're collecting that because of our merchant there, which is great. Gives a good boost putting a merchant. I always recommend it. We've got all the royal marriages, so as soon as we can, we want to start currying favors with France. Because we want France to come in and help us in the inevitable war that we will be fighting against Burgundy. We'll also have our army drilling. But yeah, so the big thing we want here, we have a truce with Burgundy until, as I said, February of 1454. France has a truce with England until 1450. We don't want France going to war with England, because that would give them reduced manpower. England will keep asking you to transfer trade power, just say no. The English are going to break our alliance, because we're also allied to Aragon. England's probably a better ally to have than Aragon early on. It's just the odds that the Iberian wedding happens are way too big. I think I gotta break alliance with Aragon. That'll keep England around. Yeah, barely. We are still allied to their rival, France, of course, but, you know, Aragon, we still got the royal marriage, so if that becomes an opportunity again, we might be able to take it if England's not rivaling them anymore or something. But then right back to currying favors with France. And we're going to keep building our army up. We want to get to our force limit of 10, so we want 2 more infantry units as quick as we can. And we're going to be fabricating claims first on Flanders over here. We want to get some claims on Flanders going, because this is the land we're going to be taking in the next war with Burgundy. Now, the way I usually play a Dutch campaign is that I'm basically in a race with a few factors. And the first factor I'm in a race with is the Burgundian Inheritance. So, when the current ruler of Burgundy dies, Philip here, when he dies, Charles will inherit. And when Charles dies, the Burgundian Inheritance event will fire. And the Burgundian Inheritance event is basically Burgundy is going to become a junior partner of someone. In all likelihood, that someone is going to be Austria. And I need a bunch of land off Burgundy and their subjects, because what I want to do is I want to control, at the very least, all of this blue region here, the region that is the lowlands. As you can see, a lot of that is owned by Burgundy and its vassals. Now, I would much rather be fighting Burgundy and their vassals for that land than fighting Burgundy and Austria for that land. So basically, I want to get as much of this land as I can off Burgundy. Either take it directly and annex it myself, or just make sure it is not controlled by Burgundy before the Burgundian Inheritance fires. So we're in a race with the clock in that sense, which is why our early conquests are going to be entirely focused on Burgundy. We're not going to be doing any wars besides, because we want to save all of our aggressive expansion to take land from Burgundy. So it's going to be kind of a slow start in terms of expansion, but generally I think it's a better idea to play that way, because you can actually look at the Form the Netherlands decision right now. You need to have Breda, Utrecht, Gelre, Den Haag, Amsterdam, and 10 core provinces in the Low Countries. And you have to have admin tech 10. So you're kind of delayed on when you can form the Netherlands anyway, because that admin tech 10. But also, when you form it, if you look, Holland will no longer be a part of the Holy Roman Empire. So upon forming the Netherlands, you leave the HRE. But so much of this land is in the HRE that you need to take. So when you form the Netherlands, you get a claim on the entire Low Countries, but to press those claims, you'd have to fight the Holy Roman Emperor. Most likely, Austria. And that's no good. So the thing I like to do early on is do a lot of fabricating claims to take land. Taking land the old-fashioned way. And then I like to have all the land I want in the HRE before I form the Netherlands and leave the HRE. In my opinion, it's the ideal way to do it. Obviously, you could do it way faster if you just were willing to fight Austria. But I'm not quite that good at EU4, certainly not at warfare that I can that I can win those kinds of wars. And I really don't, even if I can win them, I really don't enjoy fighting the really big wars. And I'd be relying heavily on allies in any case. We're going to be doing that early on here anyway, but against foes that aren't as bad as Austria. So, but yeah, this is what we're going to be doing until that truce runs out. We're going to be hoping that France doesn't declare war on England as soon as their truce is up with England, because we don't want to be dragged into that war. That would make France completely unwilling to join a war against Burgundy. So yeah, we're going to hope that they don't do that. Now, Aragon wouldn't. I'll take the admin power. Absolutely. In fact, since we just got that admin power, I'm going to go ahead and push up to Stability 1. Stability 1 means we'll start building prosperity. I believe you need at least one stability to get prosperity in your counties, but yeah, that's always good to start building towards some prosperity. So we don't have both of our claims. I need to get my other claim. Hold on. Forgot. So we'll get our claim on Bruges. We could stop there. We could build some claims on Brabant. We won't be taking that land in the next war. So honestly, I'm kind of thinking no. It's going to cost more as well. Brabant is in the HRE, and it costs more spy network to fabricate claims on people in the HRE. So I'm thinking we stop building the spy network there, and we start improving with France. The higher a country's opinion of you, the quicker you will get favors with them. So we want France's opinion of us to be nice and high. 10 favors is the mark you want to get to. That's the point where they'll be joining, willing to at least, like, at the very least, willing to join an offensive war as your ally. So at the very least, you need to get them to 10 favors. More is helpful. It can help you if they have some little factor that's making them unwilling to join. So the more favors you have with France, the better. They're going to be the big, important ally we're going to have early on. Yeah, February of 1454. Until then, we'll just be drilling our army, saving up money, seizing land as often as we can, all that fun stuff. How much trade power do we currently have? Only 15. We need 10% more. That's going to be rough. This land will help. Yeah, that was kind of a bad diet agenda to take. It's going to be a hard one to get. I'm not going to be building many light ships or anything. We do, of course, have custom missions as Holland. We'll get more of them when we form the Netherlands. Some of them are kind of, like, support the bulk trades, 33% or more trade power in Lubeck over here. That one's always hard for me to get, even when I'm pretty big and strong. 20 light ships, that's not hard. Doesn't give any great bonuses, light ship combat ability, but we won't be getting into many naval battles for a while. Blockade efficiency, I guess that's good. As our general picks up a siege pip, never say no to a siege pip. Naval tradition at least 50, that takes a while to get to, honestly, and we get a pretty good admiral. It's not that great. We'll get the 4 core provinces in the next war with Burgundy, and just 100 military power. That's fine, I guess. This one's going to take a while to own all of this land. That one's going to take me a while to get around to, because the AE in this region is insane. And of course, we also want to own all this land. So we do want to own a bit of lands out of the lowlands region. Ideally, this is all the land we'd ideally own, including Calais. So we will be backstabbing England eventually. And I also want to own this just because the borders look nicer if I own Brethaloy. Yeah, we do have some missions. They're kind of long-term. I don't know how soon we'll be getting any of those. I will go ahead and spend the money to get a naval doctrine. Naval doctrines only get more expensive as my navy gets bigger, so I think it's a good idea to get it now. And we'll get ship trade power. We want to be stacking that as much as we can, and that'll help our trade income right away. Gives us an extra 0.3 ducats in trade income. It's great. Making over 2 ducats per month now. We will be stacking a lot of trade bonuses as the Netherlands, unsurprisingly. One of my favorite things to do in EU4, honestly, is just stack bonuses. And I think the Netherlands is great for that, because you can stack all those trade bonuses. We can actually get a palace here, go a bit into debt. That'll give me... I'm struggling for legitimacy and prestige. So I'll go into a little bit of debt to build that. We'll take out a loan on the next month tick. Debt in EU4, of course, does not work like debt in CK3. You're not allowed to be in debt. You'll take out a loan automatically when you are in debt. So we'll just pay that back as soon as we can. But yeah, in CK3, you can just sit in debt all you want. I mean, it'll give you debuffs, but you can stay in debt. But in this game, no. You are required to take out a loan if you are in debt. The game will automatically take one out for you. I could have taken out a... there is a Merchant's Guild privilege to get loans from the burghers that are lower interest, but I didn't really need to do that in this case. It's not... I'm not going to go too much in debt, and we'll seize land. They're all over 50. Whenever your estates are over 50, good idea to seize land. Get those Crown Authority debuffs out of there, and we'll be making even more money. Though most of our income is going to be from trade, which is not affected by the Crown Authority debuff. Get up to Miltech 4 here. Love it. Miltechs are, of course, very important for battles early on. They can be the difference between winning and losing battles and entire wars. I see France is moving. Oh, no. Okay. They're not on the border. Just don't declare war on England, my guy. I think their truce is up now, so they can. But I'm really hoping they don't. England doesn't really have great allies. I think we're good. I think France is just sitting there. I've seen them do this before. I think this is like where they like to sit their armies. But I think if we see them move to the border with England, that's when we need to start being worried about a potential war declaration on England, which we absolutely positively do not want. It would end our alliance with England prematurely before I want it to end. It would drag us into a war. England's going to last a while because France will not be able to get a landing. So they're just going to sit here and try to wait the war out, which means they won't be willing to join my war against Burgundy the entire time. They're just sitting and waiting for their war with England to win. Let's go ahead and repay that loan. So we absolutely do not want France declaring war on England. We have to hope that for 3 more years until our truce with Burgundy is up, France will not do it. For me, you know, I've done a few playthroughs on this. It seems like a coin flip whether they do or not, honestly. Part of that's going to depend on if England gets the War of the Roses. That'll weaken them to the degree France might go for it. They haven't gotten it yet. Fingers crossed. But yeah, I don't know. It seems completely up to chance whether or not France goes to war with England in the playthroughs I've done. And there's not really anything I can do to change it. I could tell them I'm not willing to join offensive wars, but that doesn't really matter. I mean, yeah, it's not great for me to join it because it'll break my alliance with England. But really what the really bad thing is, it means France won't help me in my war with Burgundy, and that's the thing that's really bad from France declaring war on England. The Renaissance has spawned. We'll probably be deving that up at some point in one of our provinces, I would imagine. Though we do have a level 2 center of trade here in Amsterdam, so we will get some natural growth towards the institution. We're getting 0.10 per month. But yeah, we'll probably dev that up at least a little bit in Amsterdam there. Okay, France, just 2 more years, buddy. Just don't do it for 2 more years, and we'll be all good. Yeah, France is the main long-term ally. We will be turning on England eventually for a few reasons, Calais being one of them, but there are other reasons we'll be turning on England. I do have a lot of goals for this playthrough. This one might go a while. As I said, I've done a decent amount of Holland playthroughs, Holland and Netherlands playthroughs before. Dang. 100 ducats, or... That's going to be really bad. Locals good produce my... Okay, well, we're going to use those burger loans I mentioned. We're going to go indebted to the burgers. And we'll send them whatever they need. These are lower interest loans. They'll be easier to pay back. In fact, I'll go ahead and pay back as many as I can. So yeah, going into a bit of debt, it is what it is. Oh, we get a stab. Of course, I don't care about Catholicism or Reform Desire. Spoiler alert, we will not be staying Catholic. We will be converting probably to Protestantism. I mean, why would I convert to Reformed? There's just no reason to. It's not very good. But Protestantism gives me some decent buffs. I know Catholicism got really strong in the last update, but I'm too much of a invested in like making the Netherlands accurate, and Catholic Netherlands just doesn't work, man. Doesn't make any sense. Can't do it. Yeah, okay, so France is still standing pat. But yeah, like I was saying, I've done a few Netherlands playthroughs before, and my goals for this playthrough are to do more than I've done in any other playthrough. A lot of global expansion is the plan, and it could run quite a while this series, but I'm really looking forward to it. I always have a fun time playing as the Netherlands, Holland into Netherlands playthrough. I think there's just so many situations where you have these really like knife edge situations where things are have to be very fine-tuned, have to be very well balanced. It feels like a very high stakes game a lot of times. You know, we have this where we're trying to race the Burgundian Inheritance, and we have to be super efficient in doing so. There's going to be other situations later, even when we form the Netherlands and become kind of powerful, where things have to be very fine-tuned, and we're going to be very, you know, tight and very close in trying to get our goals. You know, like here, we're hoping France doesn't declare war. We're just waiting for that truce to expire. And as soon as it does, we're going to go for Burgundy. There's just so many things about it where you have to have things so perfect and things work out so well, and you have to be so focused. I don't know. I think it's just such a fun playthrough. I don't know if I'd recommend it for beginners because of that fact, because there's so many things that have to go just your way. I see movement here among French vassals. Uh-oh. France, no, please. We're so close. France, it's just a few months out. Please don't do this, France. I'm begging you. Don't do it. France, don't do it. Stop drilling my armies. France, don't. Don't, France. I see your vassals are moving. Don't do it, France. Come on, we're in October. We need to get to February of 1454. It's just their vassals that are moving. France, please. Oh, no. They're moving. You're gonna do it this close. France, please, no. No, France. Don't. France, I need you, France. Oh my god. We're literally 2 months away. We're literally 2 months away. We are literally 1 month away, France. I'm begging you. Don't do it. Don't do it, France. France. Don't. Don't. Whew. Okay. Oh no, I have to call my diplomat back. 3 days. Give me 3 more days, France. Oh, thank God. Okay. Whew. That felt like that was close. And England and France will both join. Now, you don't want to call in England right away. Because what England's going to do is they're going to go occupy Flanders. And we don't want that. In fact, what we're going to do before this war, we're going to go ahead and say we want all 3 of these. And then we're going to declare war. Oh, we actually have to declare war on Flanders. That's fine. They'll still join. So we will call in England later. Once we've gotten these all under our control, we're going to call in France for now. And we're going to go ahead and declare that war. And we'll do that war next time. Will be the second war against Burgundy. Thank you very much for watching the first episode of our first series on Europa Universalis for the United Provinces. And I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you very much, and goodbye.